Welcome to Stories and Rhymes, oh my. I'm Valerie, and today my special guest is Doris Duck. Say hello, Doris.
Quack, 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 quack.
Yeah, she's really excited because we're going to tell stories and rhymes about her, along with some of her other friends, like Goose and Swan. So let's get started.
Quack.
Alright, our first story is called The Ugly Duckling. And many of you have probably already heard this wonderful story about this poor little duckling who thinks he's ugly. It was a beautiful, warm spring day in the farmland. Mother Duck was sitting on her nest, waiting for the last and biggest egg to hatch. She looked around at her other babies and thought to herself, "What beautiful little fluffy yellow ducklings you all are." At last she could hear the pecking of the last little chick. As the sixth duckling broke through the shell and peeked out at the world, he saw his brothers and sisters and mother. They were all quacking and quacking, but he was so different. He was very different looking. He was gray, and he was bigger than the other ducklings. He had a long, shining neck and wide, clumsy-looking feet. Mother Duck turned away from the ducklings with tears in her eyes. "What an ugly duckling this one is. What can I do with him? I hope he can swim." Being a good mother, the mother duck lifted her head and started out for the pond. She was going to take her ducklings for their first swim as the mother duck walked through the farmyard, and all the other animals said, "What beautiful ducklings!" However, when they saw the big gray duckling at the end of the line, they were surprised. The horse said, "Nay, what an ugly duck!" And the cow said, "Moo, what an ugly duck!" And the pig said, "Oink, oink, what an ugly duck!" The mother duck just walked on past the pond, and all the ducklings had a good time swimming. Weeks passed and no one would play with the ugly duckling. When he went to the farmyard, the hens clucked, "There's that ugly duckling!" And the geese would honk, 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 "What an ugly duckling!" Even the turkeys would have nothing to do with the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling was very sad. "I'll run away," he said. "No one here wants me." And he ran to the marsh where he could hide in the long grass. He cried and he cried. The wild ducks that lived there heard the noise and came to see what was happening, and the wild ducks found the ugly duckling. "How ugly you are," they said, and they swam away as quickly as they could. So the ugly duckling walked along the shoreline through the forest, but no matter where the duckling went, everyone said, "How ugly you are." Even the frogs thought he was ugly, and the duckling had no friends and no places to go, and he went back to the marsh where he spent his summer hiding from all the other animals. One night, the duckling looked up into the sky and saw 3 white swans flying by. "Oh," thought the duckling, "how I wish I could fly away with them." As time passed, the poor duckling felt uglier and sadder and lonelier. And when winter came, the days were very, very cold, and it was hard for the duckling to find food to eat and a place to keep warm. One very cold, snowy night, the marsh froze around the little duckling where he was searching for his food. He saw a frightened duckling frozen in the water, and he took out his axe and broke up the ice and gently picked him up and put him on dry land. He then found the duckling a hollow log where he could stay for the rest of the winter. At last it was spring, and the sun felt warm. "I feel so good today," thought the ugly duckling, and he flapped his wings. And he started to fly. "I can fly," he cried. "Now I can leave this terrible place and all the mean animals." So the duckling flew, and he saw 3 other swans just like himself. So he flew with them too. And he talked to the other birds and said, I wish I was as beautiful as you are. And they said to him, but you are beautiful. Look at yourself. So the ugly duckling looked into the water, and he saw that he looked just like the beautiful birds he saw in the sky. He goes, what kind of an animal am I? And they told him that he was a swan, and that he would forever be beautiful. So just because something may not be appealing at first doesn't mean that someday they may be beautiful, because they're beautiful on the inside. And that's the ugly duckling. All right, so we shared with the ugly duckling, and now we're going to do a fun little song called The Little White Duck. Okay? Oh, hang on, I dropped my snake. Okay. All right, let's try this. It goes to the little white duck. There's a little white duck swimming in the water, a little white duck doing what he oughter. She took a bite of that lily pad. She flapped her wings and said, I'm glad that I'm a little white duck sitting in the water, a little white duck. Quack, quack, quack. Now there's a little green frog swimming in the water, a little green frog doing what she oughter. She jumped right onto the lily pad, and she bit and said, I'm glad I'm a little green frog sitting in the water. Croak, croak, croak. There's a little black bug lying in the water, a little black bug doing what he oughter. He swam right up to the lily pad and tickled the frog, and then he said, I'm glad I'm a little black frog laying in the water, a little black bug doing what he oughter. Buzz, buzz, buzz. There's a little red frog swimming in the water, a little red snake sliding through the water. She scared the frog and the duck away. And the bug and said, I'm glad I'm a little red snake sliding in the water. Well, I say that snake's kind of a bully myself. Why did he feel the need to scare everybody away? Maybe he's nice after all. He just wanted a nice place to slide around. And that was just the fun little thing about the little white duck. So now I want to show you some pictures of real ducks, swans, and geese. This is a real picture of a duck. And again, a duck goes quack. Now, in the first story, The Ugly Duckling, we thought that the ugly duckling was actually a duck, when the ugly duckling was actually a swan. And we just didn't get to see his full beauty until he was fully grown. And then the other animal that we've talked about today was the goose. And a goose goes honk. This is a picture of a real goose. Okay, so our next story, speaking of the goose, is the goose with the golden eggs. And this is what we call fable. And usually a fable at the end will have a moral. One day, a countryman going to a nest of a goose found there was an egg all yellow and glittering. When he picked it up, it was very heavy, and he was going to throw it away because he thought a trick had been played upon him. But he decided to take it home and soon discovered that it was an egg of pure gold. Every morning the same thing occurred, and he grew rich by selling his eggs. And as he grew rich, he grew greedy, and thinking to get all the gold the goose could give, he killed it and opened it only to find nothing. So the moral of the story is, don't forget, it isn't good to be greedy. The greedier you are, the less likely you will be happy. So that was the story of the goose and the golden egg. So we're going to end with a fun duck type song, and it's called 6 Little Ducks That I Once Knew. 6 little ducks that I once knew, fat ones, pretty ones, they were 2. But the one little duck with the feather on his back, he led the others with the quack, 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 quack. He led the others with the quack, quack, quack. Down to the river they would go, a wibble wobble, to and fro. But the one little duck with the feather on his back, he led the others with the quack, 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 quack. He led the others with the quack, quack, quack. Into the river they would dive, over and under another 5. But the one little duck with the feather on his back, he led the others with the quack, 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 quack. He led the others with the quack, quack, quack. Home from the river they would go, wibble wobble, ho hum hum. But the one little duck with a feather on his back, he led the others with the quack, 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 quack. He led the others with the quack, quack, quack. One day, as sure as you're alive, more ducks will follow the other 5. But that one little duck with a feather on his back, he led the others with the quack, 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 quack. He led the others with the quack, quack, quack. And thank you for joining me for Stories and Rhymes Oh My. See you next time.